Hi everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace. I was speaking with a group this morning, the online Eating Peace group that we get together on Wednesday mornings and we do inquiry. That is, we identify stressful thought that is going on in past situations, in future imaginary situations, moments we've experienced, memories, and what we really think is true. And then we take it to inquiry using the work of Byron Katie. So those are those 4 questions. Is it true? Can you absolutely know it's true? How do you react? What happens when you're believing this thought? And who would you be without the thought? The most amazing question 4. Who would you be without that thought? Very hard to even imagine what it would be like without the thought for a lot of people when it comes to food and compulsive behavior, addictive behavior, kind of feeling dependent on something, but not impossible. So I want to share with you today a way to sit with this in kind of a meditative manner. And that does not mean you have to slow down and stop and put your hands together and close your eyes and sit still for an hour. No, I just mean, yes, we're slowing down, but you're going to contemplate. Let your mind open up to this. That is, if you feel horrible today about how you've been with food and eating, if you feel bad about your body, if you look in the mirror and you're kind of disgusted, and you're just sure you've been doing it wrong and you're failing, what a horrible sensation and thought to hold about yourself, right? It just feels bad. I don't mean horrible like you're wrong to be doing that, because that's just adding to the pile. It's like you've got this bonfire going already. I'm a screw up, and now you're going to put, and I also shouldn't be thinking I'm a screw up, you know? So let's just relax with all that, noticing that in the human condition, it seems that the way our minds are is they can get pretty vicious, pretty attacking, pretty full of criticism. Other people can even seem to say things, but it's not as bad as what you say to yourself. You've got a whole list of what you're doing wrong, or, you know, just your view is that way. And just notice, first of all, is that true? Is all that stuff true? And a lot of times people will say, oh, I know it's not logically true. I just got this self-critical kind of bent, you know. I've just got this voice that's really intense and mean and nasty. It's so mean. I know it's not really true, though. It's funny that it still persists, isn't it? So see how you react when you believe that thought. One thing that people share with me a lot is that the way they react is they do everything they can to smash down that negative voice, to hate it, almost go to war with the voice that is negative. You know, you're kind of in a double bind. I stop thinking badly about myself. I'm going to think positive things. I'm going to look in the mirror and say, you're so fabulous, I love you today. But if you kind of don't believe it underneath at the rock bottom surface, you get this sick feeling in your stomach. You know, it's not working. I'm still eating. I'm still overeating later. So just, what if we kind of rested that, slowed it down, and instead of engaging in a war or pouring more fuel on a fire or trying to attack something or get something in some particular way, what if you, instead of being in the reaction to all this negative criticism that you hear within, is you just stopped and said, who would I be without thinking this is true? You've got the thought, so in a way, who would I be without the thought? It might be too hard to go all the way there. I mean, you can wonder, who would I be without the thought? I'd be like a rock. You know, a rock on the ground with no mental activity whatsoever, right? I'd be someone who doesn't think, because it seems like that criticism is so strong. Although it is a beautiful question. Who would I really be if I didn't believe my stressful thinking? If I didn't repeat it over and over again? If I didn't hold it as true? What would that be like? If I really, in this world of duality, looked over here and listened to the voice that really knows it's not true already, that knows you've just learned and been conditioned and you have all kinds of things going on around this stressful experience that leads you to kind of emotional eating or compulsive behavior or reaching for something, even drinking and smoking and all of it, that it's just a way to adapt to your mental noise. So who would I be without believing my thoughts that are so critical towards myself, that I'm doing something wrong or that it's been one big failure, that I am failing in this moment? Who would I really be if that wasn't true? Even if it floats through my mind, if I didn't believe it, if I thought it was funny, perhaps, or just had a neutral approach. When it's hard to imagine who you are without a thought as a human being because you feel so deeply entrenched in all the thoughts in your mind, I love imagining what it would feel like to be a tree. You know, they're part of nature, just like our bodies. They live in this world, they spring up, they have a life, they die eventually. But a tree is very steady, and it just stands still, and it's rooted in the ground. And I don't imagine trees are criticizing themselves, you know, whatever this mental or mind activity is that happens. And I can get the sense in my body of what it would feel like to be a part of nature and to be a tree, doing nothing, just staying stable, just standing. And really, in the end, that is who you are. I mean, as you notice that your own mental thinking at this point hasn't killed you. You know, you've suffered, but part of you is still here. There is not total failure. And in some ways, the experience of feeling like you failed can bring you to a surrender, you know, like, look at that, my shoulders drop. And it's just, I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to try. But instead of complete despair, you're just sort of laying still on the ground, doing nothing. So that voice that speaks without the compulsion, without the negative criticism, that's even friendly almost, letting the critical voice be present. It's not against it. I'm not doing this work so that I become super positive at all times. I'm just sitting here in this moment noticing that I am a human being that has a brain, and my brain is filled with thought. That's the way it works. That's the way a mind and thoughts work, and I'm not against thinking. Thinking is fantastic, and it comes up with all kinds of things. It's so creative and so busy and so fast and amazing, this mind. It's so incredible, all the things that it comes up with, how creative, how ingenious, how tricky, how slippery, how wonderful and curious. So not being against the mind, not being against your thoughts, just holding still and relaxing, even in the midst of all that negative thinking, and noticing who you are already. You already don't believe all that you're thinking. You already know you're not a failure. Letting that voice get a little stronger. It's more like a whisper in the silence compared to the other one, it seems. So just noticing who you are without believing those negative thoughts, and letting them be there, and watching that you aren't only your mind and your brain, incredible and creative as those are, and alarming as they like to try to be, just trying to help. But that's not all you are. You're also this body, and you can be like a tree. Your pinky finger is already like a tree, right? It's just sitting there. It's not thinking all the time that you are a failure and you've screwed up so far and you should lose 25 pounds and all that it's thinking. Your pinky finger doesn't care. It's just been with you the whole time. And that center of yourself, most of you is actually like that. It's just your brain that thinks otherwise. So let yourself rest in that today and just see what happens. See how it feels. Okay, lots of peace, everybody. Lots of love. Bye-bye.